Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call and posting, please.
Member Lopez?
Here.
Member Ramirez?
Here.
Chair McDonald?
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum, and the agenda for this meeting was posted in the City Hall kiosk on Tuesday, February 4th.
Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now would be the moment for public comments for items not on the agenda. I have no speaker cards. Oh, okay. Consent agenda. Has the rest of the committee had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yep. Second.
Okay. You can still do it. Okay. Any objections or abstentions?
Nope.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next one, cultural reports, Cultural and Community Services Department. I'm sorry, I've forgotten how to speak English. Subject, city-sponsored youth intervention and prevention programs. And there we go. It's all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair McDonald and committee members Lopez and Ramirez. Renee Rakestraw, Community Services Manager, and I'm joined today by our Cultural and Community Services Director, Terrell Harrison, quite a few of our recreation coordinators who lead many of the programs that will be highlighted in this presentation, along with Assistant Chief Stonsegard, who will give the second half of this presentation. So what we're going to go over are city-sponsored youth intervention and prevention programs. So a little background to kick this off. According to the FBI, the hours immediately after school dismissal, which are 3 to 6 p.m., American youth are most likely to be victimized by or commit serious criminal acts. And the juvenile crime rate triples within these 3 hours. So the State of California Resource Agency and the National Park Service published a study, The Health and Social Benefits of Recreation. And through this study, it was determined that youth participation in rec programs develops the youth. Self-esteem, dealing with success and failures, deterring negative behaviors such as criminal activity, drug and alcohol abuse. So what is at-risk youth? The Interagency Working Group on Youth Programs defines it as a biological, psychological, family, community, or cultural level characteristic that precedes and is associated with a higher likelihood of problem outcomes. The study indicates that every child in America is at risk in at least one of the 62 mental health risk factors. So those risk factors can cover an array of negative influence from their feelings about themselves, the instability within the home and the family, issues at school, or even within the community. So the Cultural Community Services Department and Oxnard Police Department operate or participate in over 15 local programs that are really focused on prevention and intervention for Oxnard youth. In addition to the programs that we provide, noted in the staff report and the 1920 budget presentation, are some other programs, such as rental spaces at the Multi-Service Center, Pell, other facilities, I missed the first bullet, city recreation opportunities such as parks, boxing, the Mobile Activity Center, libraries, skate park, but also other nonprofits, both private and nonprofits such as the Boys Club, Interface Children, and Family Services, along with theater. So I'm going to take you into the programs that are provided through recreation. So first, a few slides are focusing on the little ones. So our preschool classes This slide, or this program is known as Pre-K Experience, and we have 2 locations, Durley and Pack, along with the Tiny Tots. So this prepares children for future school experiences. All of the activities are designed to develop self-awareness and group socialization skills, basically getting them ready for school. So these are for 3 to 6 year olds, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have 2 locations for this program and get about 60 participants annually with a budget of $65,569. And just a reminder, within our impact, we also include preschool programs, some data that shows that preschool programs are associated with reduced delinquency and crime. Our next is our Preschool to You. And so this is a mobile preschool program. It's offered at our local parks, and again, promoting self-awareness and group socialization skills in preparation for school. So these programs are this program is geared to 3.5 to 5-year-olds. Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, various parks. We get about 50 to 60 participants annually. And with that there was a peri-preschool longitudinal study that found at age 10, participants who experienced a preschool program had fewer teenage pregnancies, were more likely to graduate high school, more likely to hold a job and have higher earnings, commit fewer crimes, and own their own home and car. So we're able to do this on a budget of $160,551. And our last, so the first 2 preschool programs, along with Camp Serendipity, are coordinated by our coordinator, Olga Fernandez. So if you could just raise your hand, Olga. And so Camp Serendipity is a summer camp program. And so it's a safe, fun, and active environment in which children can develop new skills, self-esteem, and friendship. There's weekly themes, arts and crafts, movies, swimming, field trips, along with recreational sports. So this is geared to youth 5 to 12-year-olds, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Performing Arts Youth Center. We get about 480 youth, and it's an 8-week program. In 2005, there was a study of 80 camps by the American Camp Association, and they found significant growth in children's social, emotional skills after a session of summer camp. The budget for this is $51,836. So next I move to youth sports, and Olympia Hugo is our coordinator for youth and adult sports, I'll throw out there. So recreational leagues year-round, we follow the academic school calendar along with summer leagues and seasonal sport camps. This gives our Oxnard youth an opportunity for healthy activity, leadership opportunity, mentorship, and just to go out and have some fun. It teaches youth responsibility and fosters positive choice making and an active lifestyle. In our youth sports leagues, we have ages kindergarten to 8th grade, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Games are going on throughout the day in various locations throughout Oxnard, and we get about 4,000 participants annually, and some of those are duplicated numbers. Studies show that organized sports programs can contribute to reducing youth crime by giving young people a positive identity, feelings of empowerment, and by helping youth acquire leadership, teamwork, self-governance skills under adult supervision. And we're able to do this on a budget of $91,800. And that takes us to our after-school programs, which we have two, the Oxnard Scholars and Wainimi ACES. And I'll ask Esteban Melchor and Donalee Perez to stand up. So Esteban runs our Wainimi program and Donalee oversees our Oxnard program. This is a safe environment in which students receive homework assistance, structured recreation, and STEAM-related enrichment opportunities. K-8, 5 to 14-year-olds, we follow the academic school calendar. Oxnard School District has 20 school sites. Wainimi School District has 10 school sites, so a total of 30 school sites between the two. 3,000 students are served daily, and studies have shown high-quality after-school programs can improve student academic performance, behavior, and help reduce crime by providing safe, supervised environment during the hours kids are most likely to commit or become a victim of violent crime. This is an agreement with both school districts that's just under about $3 million, but it is funded through an agreement with the school districts. Then we have our youth centers. So our youth centers, Susie Marquez oversees our youth centers, and these are safe and friendly environments for youth to engage in recreational activities, fun and enriching activities, arts and crafts, pool tables, foosball tournaments, movies, days, computer access, holiday parties, summer lunch program, and then homework assistance is provided. Ages 6 to 18 are welcome, which is 1st through 12th grade, Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 6 at the South Oxnard Center and the Colonia Rec Center. We serve about 10,000 youth annually through these two youth centers. And research shows that after-school programs can reduce crime by offering constructive alternatives to gang and drugs during peak hours. So these two sites run off of a budget of $103,300. And then that takes us to Pell. So I'm going to have a few staff stand for this, Jesse Tapia and Julia Estrada. So they're both involved with our Pell programs. This is a citywide after-school crime prevention program which provides outreach to youth. The purpose is to divert youth away from gangs and other criminal activity by offering a wide variety of positive alternatives. Pell has been around for over 25 years. It was established in 1994. And President Obama's task force on the 21st century policing final report identified Oxnard Pell as a successful crime intervention program. So the age group is is 7 to 18-year-olds, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. at the old Oxnard High School location, and the South Winds is Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. We serve youth at these locations, about 4,000 youth at these locations during those high-risk hours, with a budget of $419,666. And Pell, being the Oxnard Police Activities League, I just want to tie in that this past year, we had a total of 1,035 hours of volunteer service from our Oxnard Police Department officers. And duplicated numbers, that totaled about 144 officers volunteering their time through this program. And then we have City Course, so I'll have a few staff stand up for that. Araceli Espinoza, Ivan Mata, and Maria Chavez. And for this, the projects channel the community, energy, and personal initiative of the city's youth into meaningful activities. Each project serves to give young people vocational training and a sense of civic responsibility. These diverse opportunities aim for networking opportunities towards future careers through relationships that we have with other city programs, departments, community organizations, and the private sector. We use the community as a classroom, and leaders, trainees are provided with a hands-on opportunity to acquire new skills and learn about different workplace environments. So youth, 12 to 17-year-olds, and adults 18 to 25-year-olds participate in this program Monday through Sunday as times vary. There are about 200 youth trained, a total of just under 8,000 volunteer service hours annually, and this is funded through internal partnerships and external partnerships that provide those job training opportunities. And next, we have Operation Peace Corps, and Eileen Pinkert is going to stand. And she's also part of City Corps, but I just left her for this one specifically. So this is a partnership with Oxnard Police Department, City Impact, and Adult Education to offer job training and career exploration, case management, mentoring, job readiness classes, professional certifications, professional counseling and high school diploma, GED, school requirements, and personal goals. We serve youth 12 to 17-year-olds and adults 18 to 25-year-olds Monday through Sunday, depending on the job assignment. Times will vary. We have about 75 at-risk enrolled annually, and this is through a grant known as CalVIP, which we have about 80,000 that's funded. So this portion of the presentation, as far as the recreation programs, outside of the after-school programs, there are about 18,955 youth that are served outside of the after-school program, with a budget of about $972,000. So just to give you an idea of the impact of our programs, we're serving close to 20,000 youth on top of the 3,000 served daily through our after-school programs. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Assistant Chief Stonsegard.
Good afternoon, Assistant Chief Stonsegard. It's always my honor to present in front of you. I'm going to take just a couple of seconds to go through some of the programs or initiatives that the police department participate in as it pertains to youth intervention. First one we have up here is called Arrive Alive. You may know it by its former title, Every 15 Minutes, and it's a partnership with not only our brothers and sisters at the fire department, but a variety of other community partners. It's a 2-day anti-drinking and driving program that rotates from each high school each year, and we touch about 2,000 students annually, and it's basically about 5 hours of interactive programs showing the perils of drinking and driving. Obviously, that title came from the fact that every 15 minutes somebody dies from an alcohol-related collision. Last year, we got to hear basically a survivor from a very tragic vehicle collision came and spoke to the juniors and seniors that had a lot of impact on the kids. Our Youth Academy, it's a class facilitated by our school resource officers. We run 2 of those per year. The students come from all the different campuses in the Oxnard Union High School District. It's really an opportunity to introduce high school students to law enforcement, potentially getting some of our hometown heroes in Oxnard into the kind of the tube to get them into law enforcement and even potentially work at the Oxnard Police Department. We have a variety of guest speakers that come talk about all different facets of law enforcement. They make an annual field trip to the jail. That's a highlight for the young students. Hopefully it's the only time they ever get to see it. and about 70 to 80 high school students participate every single year. The Parent Project is something that we've had for over a decade in Oxnard. It's instead of like focusing on the kids, this was created to focus on parents. And you know, a lot of our parents work 1-2 jobs, very busy, may not have either the time, or sometimes they work so much that they're not really in tune with what's going on in society, what's going on in our kids' lives. And this program basically helps them understand a variety of the things that our kids are dealing with, whether it's truancy, runaways, alcohol, drug use. This is taught by our school resource officers in conjunction with staff from the Oxnard Union High School District. We also have some of our civilian employees at the police department that participate as well. So DRAGG, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. It's a very innovative after-school program. It was started in 2010 by 2 sergeants at our police department. One of them's here today, Sergeant Dan Shrub. He's also oversees our school resource officers. DRAGG is it's a nonprofit program, kind of a little outside the umbrella of the police department, but to be candid, a majority of the work and the people that work for DRAGG come from the police department. If you've ever had the opportunity to go to one of the DRAGG graduation ceremonies, it's a fantastic opportunity, fantastic program. The police officers and the kids work together. We get people from the automotive industry that come in, and we basically teach these kids a skill. A lot of them are awarded scholarships afterwards, and a lot of them have turned those into jobs in the automotive industry. Do you want me to steal your thunder, Chair McDonald, or do you want to talk about? Okay, so DRAGG has really become a nationally renowned program. And the first city to basically come and like adopt the DRAGG program was the city of Santa Barbara. But earlier today, a press release went out saying that both the city of Los Angeles and the city of Phoenix, you know, 2 of the 5 largest cities in the country, are going to be adopting their own DRAGG program, and they use Charles Woodruff and Dan Shrub from the Oxnard Police Department as kind of like their mentors as to how to get their program started. So it's really one of our crown jewels here in Oxnard. So this is something that we started in 2018. It began with an idea that Chief Whitney had of having our gang officers actually go into juvenile hall and like just spend time with kids. They went in there, played billiards, played handball, talked to the kids, and it kind of transitioned into working with probation agencies and going to the Boys and Girls Clubs. And so our special enforcement officers, the officers that are out every day, like contacting gang members, at least 3 times a month go into the Boys and Girls Club. They have a daytime reporting center there for some of their probationers, and they spend time with the kids. They play games, they play basketball. Some of the basketball games get pretty competitive. And it has turned out to be, it started real small, and it's really turned out to be a really fantastic program. A lot of people are familiar with our anti-tobacco efforts. In 2019, we received a $25,000 tobacco grant from the state of California, and we've utilized that tobacco grant for a variety of ways. We've been able to increase our signage both in parks and in the downtown. It also allows us to do a lot of different enforcement operations. We have a tremendous amount of tobacco retailers in Oxnard, and it allows us to go in. Some of them we go in as inspections, and there are other times that we send like decoys in there to see if they are compliant with both local and state law. And then in December of 2019, we became the first city in the Ventura County to ban the sale of flavored tobacco products. And I just think Oxnard was just ahead of the ballgame. I think it's just going to be a wave that you're going to see in every city. Before I get to this one, I'm going to go a little off script, and I just want to, there isn't a slide up here, but I'll tell you that I think probably the single best youth intervention initiative that the Oxnard Police Department participates in is our school resource officers. We have 8 school resource officers. They are in all of our high schools and all of the elementary and junior high schools in the Rio, the Oxnard, and the Hueneme school districts. These men and women, you talk about hometown heroes, they are mentors, they're role models. We do not put our officers on those campuses to be like to arrest people, to be enforcers. They actually take very little enforcement action, but they in last year responded to over 2,000 calls for service, like on the school campus. Looking at some of the stats, there were over 2,100 parent and student conferences that the school resource officers helped counsel. They participate in the school attendance review boards. They're just like fantastic role models in our community for our youth. We obviously saw the crystallization of that the last 2 weeks with Officer Martin and the impact that he had on Hueneme High School. And I can tell you that that same impact is had at every school. So I just wanted to say that, even though there wasn't a slide for that. Real quickly, just to conclude the presentation, there isn't a, sometimes it's difficult to, provide, measurables, like, hey, how are the programs that the police department doing, are they working? And, one of the few things that, we're able to point to is, look, we experienced our 4th consecutive year of declining crime rates. In 2020, we're picking up right where we left off. I mean, we're in the midst of our 5th consecutive year. I know sometimes the news and social media probably paint an improper picture of what's actually going on out there, but kind of the numbers show what's going on. 2019 aggravated assaults, which is really the crime that gets a lot of attention in the media, a lot of youth-involved shootings and stabbings. We're at a 5-year low in 2019, and we're really looking, and our numbers through the first month and a half even show a greater decline in 2020. So we're happy about that. And then the 4th quarter of 2019, we only booked 63 juveniles. If you're familiar with what's going on at the juvenile hall up on Vineyard, they built this very expansive property up there, and it's almost at about 25% occupancy rate. And for us, we take that as a good sign that they're coming up with alternatives to incarceration and diversionary programs. So that's all I have from the Oxnard Police Department, and Renee and Terrell or I are here for any questions you guys have.
Thank you, and I'll just,
Mr.
City
Chair,
Manager?
if I may, before the Q&A, during the presentation, we introduced staff, but it was dark in the room, and of course, the person watching on TV could only see the slide. And since this is our only item, if you would permit me, I'd like to ask all the staff to come up, introduce yourself and the program that you run so that you can actually see them and the audience can see who they are, if that's okay.
No.
Let's begin.
It's
So
fine.
Let's just start.
He ignores me. He's going to do it anyway.
Olympia Hugo Youth and Adult Sports Programs.
Hi, Susan Marquez, Youth Centers throughout the city.
Julia Estrada, Oxnard, PAL, and the boxing programs.
Danielle Perez, Oxnard Scholars After School Program.
Ivan Mata with City Corps.
Esteban Melchor with the After School Program with the Hueneme School District.
Hi, Olga Fernandez, Adult and Preschool and Youth classes in Camp Serendipity.
Good afternoon, Araceli Espinosa with Culture and Community Services and City Corps.
Hello, Eileen Pinkard, Oxnard City Corps.
Hello, Maria Chavez, Oxnard City Corps.
Good afternoon, Jesse Tapia, Oxnard PAL.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Daniel Shrub, Oxnard Police Department, Supervisor SRO Unit, and the DRAGG program.
Good afternoon, Senior Officer Hannah Estrada, Youth Engagement Officer for the Youth Services Unit with the Oxnard Police Department.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and that was an excellent suggestion, Mr. City Manager. I apologize for my warped sense of humor. I just, kudos to all of you. You're the unsung heroes of our community. And I grew up in the last century, and when I was growing up, and that's not a lie. It really was in the last century. When I was growing up, the only career path you could take was going to school, and that's what you got to go to school, you got to get an education, you got to do this. And I think through these programs, we are showing people that there are other career paths besides just going off to college. And you'll hear this from the people in the trade unions that have their trade schools and stuff. And I think the DRAGG program is an excellent representation of this. You don't have to get a 4-year degree. You can learn about automotives and all that stuff. And if any of you have taken a look at a new car, there's a lot more computer power in there than there is anywhere else. So it really is a specialized trade. And I've always believed that for every dollar we spend up front in our youth, we probably spend or save thousands of dollars on the backside from having to deal with certain people that are just troublesome. So I think this is phenomenal. I was going to ask you about City Corps, but somebody finally got the slide in there, whether they were still involved in after-school programs, because I think it shows a lot of our youth that there are other opportunities out there, like being mentors or educators or whatever else is available to them that might get them to look at different activities. And City Corps does an excellent job, but the only time we really see the ones out in the streets are picking up palm fronds, trash, and that's excellent work. But there are other aspects to that program that I think we don't mention a lot of times, and that's so. Excellent report. DRAGG is an excellent program, and as the chief mentioned, there was a press release today about the city of Phoenix and city of Los Angeles modeling our program here, or your program here. It's not mine, but I think that's phenomenal when you have two major cities like that coming to Oxnard and saying, "Hey, we like what you're doing. We like this program. We want to get into it." You can't ask for better support from our peers. So, wonderful presentation. Thank you all so much for all you do on the law enforcement side, the fire side, and the civilian side. So you're all integral to the success of our community and our future leaders. So, Mayor Pro Tem, any comments?
Yes, thank you very much. Bravo to everybody, and I really want to think about some of the people that communicate with, I think, each of us who every day are complaining that we're not doing enough, et cetera. I would really love to see some of this out to the public. I've taken a few screenshots of some of the slides that I'm going to be distributing to people, particularly what we're doing for youth. People are saying, our police department is doing such a great job of apprehending people who have, I always say, up to no good and going to hurt themselves and others. And obviously we can't solve every single problem that families or individuals have by law enforcement. I have to pick up the pieces after damage is done, unfortunately. But this kind of work really will and does make a difference in a child's life. I know that we wish we had more money for this. I do have one question, though, of how young children get into some of the programs, because I'd love to see it expanded. I know it's a budget issue. Can someone talk about that? I see that the TOT program is little kids 3 to 6, I think?
Yes, so you're asking how someone can get more information.
Correct.
So by going on to the oxnardrec.org website, all of our program information and our rec guide, the link is there. Also our social media, Oxnard Recreation, we post quite a bit of information there, or by calling 385-7995.
So if someone contacted me who doesn't have computer access, I would tell them to call that number, and they could try to get their child enrolled.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, well, I have a lot of questions, but I won't take up more time. I just really congratulate everyone and thank you for the work you're doing to make our city better every day. Thank you.
Councilwoman, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I will definitely follow up, and then to thank all the staff for the work that you're doing on a daily basis. And I hope you do know and you've heard of the impact that you do have on these children and youth out there. I think over time, I've heard different stories of individuals that have gone through, one of the programs, whether it's been the PAL program or City Corps, and they have stories to share. And all of you are doing that. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your work. And I hope that this is a kind of news that we can share more about, because it's much easier nowadays for negative stories and news of violence to be picked up in the news. But these are great programs, as Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez mentioned, that we should be celebrating this great work. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And just a quick comment. This item was brought forward by Mr. Terrell Harrison, who's probably the only one who didn't get up and say anything or introduce himself or take any credit. So, Ms. Harrison, stand up and wave to the world, please. Hopefully we get the camera on you. A little slow. I apologize. Okay, that's a receive and file, so we'll move to the next slide. Items for future agendas. Mayor Pro Tem?
I had asked for our city to take a look at the state auditor's report on emergency preparedness, and that state auditor's report, I understand, may have left a few things out and maybe wasn't totally fair. I heard that from some of the supervisors too. So my purpose in bringing it to the attention was to see what we could do to, ensure we've covered all the bases and do whatever we can to improve. I know we can always improve, and I know we're working hard on that. So I'd like to see that come forward at the appropriate time, and city manager and I discussed this yesterday. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman, any requests? No? I have no requests, so with that, we'll move to the last item. Item F, adjournment. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.